Greetings. I'm Willma Zalabak, lifelong student of the book called The Revelation of Jesus Christ. My master's thesis was on Revelation, completed under Dr. John Pauling. This video is for my Bible scholar friends who will gather to listen to each other. In this video, I am to give the core of my paper for my scholar friends at the Revelation 17 conference in October 2025. Thank you for your attention. I will give 3 principles that shape my current understanding and my paper. Number 1, put the ises together. I find it important to put the ises together, to recognize the verb tenses. I recognize viable arguments that this is not important. Since this video presentation does not have time to discuss or even refer to the logic of other illustrious scholars, I will explain my own logic and let the hearers evaluate. Putting the ises together can be done at 3 instances in Earth's history, listed here from 3rd to 1st. Third, during the millennium of Revelation 20, the saints in heaven can be seen as the 6th kingdom who is, while Satan on earth can be in his is not time. Second, beginning in 1798, the beast Roman Church would be in its is not time, while the United States, with its 2 principles of Protestantism and republicanism, could be seen as the 6th kingdom who is. First, those who had heard Jesus and the apostles live in their open dismissal of demons could recognize the dragon as the is not kingdom, while noting Paul and John's referrals to a new power already at work, the beast Roman Church being seen as the 6th power who is. Good work can be found that can place the correct number of kingdoms to support each of these 3 instances, often by recognizing different phases of the Roman Church. Perhaps all 3 possible instances of the together ises will prove correct. For reasons explained in my paper, I choose to cite for this video, to get the correct number of kingdoms, the 7 beasts plus dragon introduced in Daniel and Revelation. Of the 3 principles that shape my current understanding and my paper, here's number 2. Hear like the first hearers. I find it important to try to hear like the first hearers. Of course, it's impossible, yet I believe the Holy Spirit works through human imagination to teach us from the Word. Imagine with me a group of intelligent and trained thinkers gathered to hear the reading of Revelation. They know, like the thoughts in their own mind, the words and images of Daniel, Ezekiel, and Isaiah. They know the Old Testament desert sanctuary as if they had walked among its furniture. They know how allusions work to bring in the context, and they know how repetitions work to organize a speech. The first hearers know the devil's work through his demons to attack and discredit Jesus in real life. And they saw Jesus and his disciples effectively dismiss those demons. They remember Jesus said he saw the devil fall. They have heard Paul's letters to the Thessalonians warning of another lawless power yet to come. They have John's letters to the church in which he said the Antichrist is already at work. The first hearers can count the kingdoms of Daniel, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and the one they know worked through Rome to kill Jesus, The dragon, that old serpent, the devil, and Satan. Satan would occur to them be the fifth after Daniel's 4, and now fallen, who was and is not. They would look for the sixth to be already at work in the world. This sixth would turn out to be the beast Roman Church, and the seventh would be the experiment with Protestantism and republicanism in the United States. I choose to think the first hearers could have understood much more than I often hear attributed to them. Perhaps they did better than we do in comprehending the cosmic nature of systems and events. Of the three principles that shape my current understanding and my paper, here's number 3. Think in terms of systems. And now I want to share my screen. In my evangelism, I have always been careful to teach that these kingdoms are entire systems and not some specific member or even leader of the system. I believe this is super helpful here because I choose to see Babylon and Scarlet as super systems. By system, I mean the entire machine operating its own hierarchy, rules, justice, the economic, education, and propaganda systems. One can see almost immediately by definition that a system includes other systems, and there could be super systems including other whole systems. I choose to see Babylon as a super system. The Roman Church expanding its system to encompass and umbrella any number of other worshiping systems, so long as they maintain some loyalty. When she is destroyed, these smaller systems will be set loose again to join another super system and finally go to the fire, as the beast, Roman Church, and the false prophet, Protestantism. Even when they go to the fire, it is the systems that burn. And with them, the people who created and enforced the systems and those who worship them. I choose to see the Scarlet Beast as a super system. I will call it Scarlet to differentiate it from the Beast Roman Church. Scarlet has textual roots in the amorphous, perhaps immature system beast of Revelation 11 and the dragon of Revelation 12, and also has growing roots in the revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries and the God-renouncing government theories and systems developed since then. It seems to me that Babylon and Scarlet cannot be the same exact entity, though they may work together indistinguishably for a time. Scarlet may wander after the beast while the whole world does it. However, they are not the same. Scarlet comes from the abyss, while Babylon comes from the uniting of the beast Roman Church, the false prophet Protestantism, and the dragonic spiritualism. Furthermore, after Babylon and Scarlet are each broken up as supersystems, then the beast Roman Church and the false prophet Protestantism go to the fire. It is only later that the dragon, which is what is left of Scarlet, joins them in the fire. I have shown 3 principles that shape my understanding and my paper. They are: 1, put the ises together. 2, hear like the first hearers. 3, think in terms of systems. Now I will turn to the characters. in Revelation 17. I here present my efforts to synthesize and clarify what I have learned of the characters in Revelation 17. This is back to the first slide. Babylon is the final worship alliance gathered by three: the papacy, Protestantism, and spiritualism, driven by Satan, including all Catholicism, Protestantism, ancestor nature worship, reincarnationism, pantheism, voodooism, channelers, and seancers, all systematized and umbrellaed by the vast structure of the Roman Church system, the last presentation of Rome on the earth. The Scarlet Beast is the final anti-worship coalition, including all revolution, atheism, secular politics, secular businesses and groups, non-religious, left-leaning, God-is-deadism, Satanism, communism, with all its permutations and precursors like socialism, Nazism, fascism, Stalinism, Leninism, Maoism, and globalism. These all systematized by Satan and preparing to receive Satan's personal appearance, seeming to collaborate with Babylon for a while. The seven heads are like this. First readers would have known of the four animals of Daniel. The first four. First readers would have experienced the dragon, fallen by then. First readers would have heard from Paul of the next one at work then, a lawless one, changing times and laws. That was number 6. First readers would have expected one to exist for a short time. The 2 United States principles were new on the earth since the Enlightenment: republicanism, that is separation of powers, and Protestantism, separation from the Roman Church. This separation idea also gave rise to atheism, separation from God, and all previously recognized worship. The 10 horns are like this. First readers would have connected the 10 horns with the 10 toes of Daniel 2 and the very last divisions on earth before Jesus comes, whether ideological gatherings on earth or political dividings of the earth. In conclusions, I believe we Adventist scholars can come to an understanding of each other that lets us affirm each other, though different. Someone says we will not be credible if we do not all explain it the same way. They say if there are several ways to get to the same end point, who will believe we got the right end point? Or did we not just pull it out of the bag and then make the steps match the end point? That is indeed an issue. However, there is something to be said for a humility that does not insist on only one way, that way being my way. I believe humility is a marker for God's people. After reading the papers of this conference, I can see how most Adventist scholars' words and intentions can be seen to mesh into an overall harmonized picture, even including the Roman forms of government, or Pope's name lines, or stretching to the millennium. I have not yet found a way to harmonize quite all the ideas. I will keep listening. And I will keep praising God and the Son and the Holy Spirit for this book, the revelation of Jesus Christ.